ADBN, Advocate Broadcasting Network.
This is ADBN News at 7. The headlines. Chief of Defense Staff General Musa issues stern warning to national adversaries as service chiefs reaffirm commitment to upholding democratic principles. While Economic Community for West African States urges #End Bad Governance protesters to heed President Tinubu's call for dialogue. Russian embassy denies involvement as protesters wave Russian flags in northern Nigeria, insists on respect for democratic processes. And on the foreign scene, United States Vice President Kamala Harris picks Minnesota Governor Walz as running mate for historic White House bid. In sports, Nigeria makes history with 3 finalists in women's long jump at the Paris Olympics. Good evening, my name is Chijoke Okafo. Now on the news in detail. As the #End Bad Governance protests continue nationwide, Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa has issued a stern warning to protesters, declaring that the armed forces are ready to confront all threats to the Nigerian state. General Musa, who stated this in Abuja at a joint media briefing of heads of security agencies, explained that the armed forces are united in their resolve to deal with any attempt to destabilize the country. Our correspondent Fumilola Adbn has more on this story.
Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa and heads of security agencies converge on the conference hall of the Defense Headquarters for the much-needed update on happenings in the country. After a welcome remark by the Chief of Defense Staff, the Inspector General of Police IGP Egbetokun hampered on protesters flying foreign flags.
I want to use this opportunity to warn our youths to desist from accepting foreign flags from agents of destabilization. It is very, very implicating for them to be seen with flags.
Christopher Musa has issued a stern warning against the display of foreign flags within Nigeria, emphasizing the gravity of such actions. Speaking after a Security Council meeting chaired by President Bola Tinubu at the State House in Abuja, General Musa highlighted that flying a foreign flag is considered a treasonable offense and a serious threat to Nigeria's sovereignty.
Today's meeting is such that we wanted to come and update Mr. President about the situation on ground. We know since the riots have started, the role all the security agencies are playing. You can see all of us together. We had about 2 hours meeting with Mr. President. We explained to him in details the current situation on ground since the riots have started. And what we realized is that yes, initially people said it was a peaceful riot, but we have warned against it because we realized that there are individuals that are willing to take advantage of it to cause mayhem, and we can see clearly what has happened since it has commenced. Criminals have taken over, a lot of looting, a lot of stealing and all sorts happening. And besides that, we're also aware that I'm seeing, all of us have seen it, where some foreign flags have been flown within the sovereignty of Nigeria, and that is totally unacceptable. We are warning in clear terms, and the President has also said we should convey this, that we will not accept anybody, any individual flying any foreign flag in Nigeria. That is treasonable offense, and it will be viewed and treated as such. So nobody should allow himself to be used by any individual. Also the issue of coups. Nigeria is a sovereign nation. Nigeria is a democratic nation. All security agencies are here to defend democracy and make sure that democracy continues to strive. We will not accept anyone pushing or taking any action, seemingly or for whatever reason, to want to push for any change of government. Democracy is what we stand for. Democracy is what we continue to defend. For those of them flying flags, if you see a lot of them are kids being pushed to do that. We're following up with those ones that are sponsoring them, those that are pushing them, because the flags were also made. We identified those areas and we're going to take serious action against that. The president is clear on his instructions for us not to accept anyone that wants to disrupt the peace and tranquility of Nigeria. And we are all standing here together to show Nigerians that we're working closely, we're working together in synergy to ensure that there's peace and tranquility in Nigeria. That we have assured Mr. President.
Just recently, Chief of Defense Staff
General Musa also underscored the military's commitment to upholding national security and the rule of law amidst backdrop of civil unrest and political tensions, stressing military is prepared to intervene if the protests escalate further and threaten public safety and order. Meanwhile, Inspector General of Police IGP Kayode Egbetokun reported that while tensions have eased in some states following the presidential broadcast, subversive campaigns have emerged in areas such as Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, and Bauchi states. He noted that certain groups have begun provocative actions, including waving foreign flags and openly calling for a military takeover. IGP Egbetokun warned youths against accepting foreign flags from destabilizing agents, labeling such as activities of treason or treasonable felony rather than legitimate protest. He added that the police have already arrested several individuals involved and assured that they will be dealt with accordingly. On his part, Comptroller General of Customs CG Bashir Adeniyi has expressed hope that the suspension of duties and taxes on imported food items over some time will reduce food prices. CG Adeniyi, who stated this at the security heads meeting in Abuja, noted that his service is dedicated to implementing the policy as outlined by the government. The customs boss urged Nigerians to be patient, adding that some of the imported items already in the country could be cleared without duties and taxes. He acknowledged, however, that there was need to balance the long-term interests of Nigerian farmers and stakeholders involved in production with the short-term concerns of food inflation. In the same vein, a human rights lawyer, Mr. Femi Falana, SAN, has warned protesters to desist from anything that will jeopardize the objective of the protests. Mr. Falana stated this while responding to questions from newsmen, cautioning youths participating in protests to be vigilant against thugs and distance themselves from undemocratic elements who are exploiting the peaceful demonstrations to advocate for another military coup. The human rights lawyer condemned the act of waving Russian flags during protests in Nigeria, calling it an abuse of constitutional rights. He emphasized that legitimate protests against the country's hardships should not be used as a platform for advocating unconstitutional changes in government. This is as he also warned those involved in promoting another military regime to stop immediately, as they could face charges of treasonable felony under Section 41 of the Criminal Code Act. In the meantime, Russian embassy in Nigeria has denied involvement in hoisting of country's nation flags during the #EndBadGovernance protests that have rocked the nation. Protesters in some northern states were seen waving Russian flags, raising concerns among authorities. Russian embassy in response issued a statement clarifying that neither the Russian government nor its officials are involved in the protesters' activities. The statement stressed that Russia does not interfere in domestic affairs of other countries, including Nigeria. It attributed the use of Russian symbols by the protesters to individual choices rather than any official stance or policy of the Russian government. The embassy expressed respect for Nigeria's democratic processes and acknowledged peaceful demonstrations as a legitimate form of democratic expression. It, however, condemned any potential disruptions or acts of violence that could arise from the protests. Elsewhere, Economic Community for West African States has urged the #EndBadGovernance protesters to heed President Bola Tinubu's calls for dialogue. The community, in a statement, expressed sorrow over reports of violence during the protest, including the tragic deaths of some demonstrators and alleged looting and destruction of both public and private property. The community extended its condolences to grieving families and expressed sympathy to the government and people of the country over losses. It acknowledged right of citizens to peaceful protest as guaranteed by the 2001 ECOWAS Supplementary Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance and enshrined in Nigeria's 1999 Constitution as amended. The community welcomed President Tinubu's recent State of the Nation address and urged protesters and all stakeholders to respond to the president's call for inclusive dialogue to resolve grievances and ensure peace and security in the country and the broader West African region. President Tinubu had addressed the youth-led protests that began on 1st August, which were driven by dissatisfaction with the struggling economy and associated hardships. He called for the suspension of rallies and a shift towards dialogue, though protesters have maintained their demands and have remained unmet. Member representing Ido Osi, Moba Ilejemeje, Federal Constituency of Ekiti State in the House of Representatives, Honorable Akinlayo Kolawole, has called on Nigerians to be patient with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's led administration. Speaking on the recent protests across the country, the lawmaker expressed confidence in the administration of President Tinubu to steer the country to prosperity. He urged Nigerians to embrace dialogue as means of addressing their concerns rather than protest.
The bad government has been in Nigeria for time immemorial, but it's the constitutional duty of the citizen to also protest if they feel that the government is not doing what they are supposed to do. But as it is, this government is very new, and considering the level of decade inherited by the government. Like they said government is continuous, we all know. But if you inherit a bad structure, it will take a while for you to repair it and make it stand solid. So I want to beg all of us and the press people to also be patient with the government in power. Give us a little time so that I promise that the government will do the needful. We all know that. And as regards the youth that are protesting, I will visit them and advise and also beg them to please dialogue, because if you could see that the crisis in Iran and the crisis in Russia and Ukraine, for the past almost 2 years, they'll be fighting and no solution in place. But if they come to table, I think that crisis will be resolved. So I want our youth to also consider that olive branch that the president has offered them, that they should come to table for dialogue.
Still on the protest, stakeholders in the Niger Delta region have urged youths to seek alternative ways of airing concerns other than protest that may likely lead to destruction of property and economic disruption. They made the call in an exclusive interview with our Adbn Niger Delta correspondent. Take a listen.
As youths across the country, including some parts of the Niger Delta, continue with the End Bad Governance protests, some stakeholders in the Niger Delta are appealing to youth to devise another means of voicing their grievance about governance. They believe that dialogue and constructive engagement can be more effective than protests, which has the potential to cause significant damage to properties and the economy. A former spokesman of the Joint Council, Comrade Ebilade Kerefe, which acknowledged the right of youths to express displeasure with the affairs of governance, call on them to conduct themselves in a peaceful and orderly manner. Comrade Ekarefe pointed out that violence protests not only harm the community but also hinder potential progress.
And so far so good. The Niger Delta region has been relatively peaceful even when these protests are being carried out. It is quite unfortunate that in some parts of the north, the protest has gone out of control. And I condemn it in its entirety. And I believe that is part of the reason why the federal government is very apprehensive over protestations, because they believe that it might spiral and go out of control. Infrastructure, state infrastructures, and the economy will further deplete.
The chairman of the Movement for the Survival of Ijaw Ethnic Nationality in Niger Delta, Mosend, Kometari Zidua, highlighted the importance of maintaining peace and sustainability in the region.
The protest, they have said, has damaged a lot of things in this country, has also delayed growth and every other thing like you've said. But does it also make an impact? Is the message sent? Do we feel the process? In some part of the country, yes. In some part of the country, no. For me, the protest for now is not doing well to us.
That we have to reason, and I believe that some of the people are not doing it because they love Nigeria or they love Nigerians. If you look at it, they were the people that destroyed this country. They were the people that privatized all our companies that our poor people used to go and work. They've sold them, cornered them to themselves, enriched themselves at the expense of the people.
The appeal for a peaceful and constructive engagement by stakeholders underscored the need for sustainable and non-violent method of addressing governance issue. Du Boisbe-Reid, Adbn News.
Plateau State Governor Barrister Caleb Moftuang has urged #EndBadGovernance protesters in the state to suspend their demonstrations and engage in dialogue with their leaders. In a statewide broadcast, Governor Moftuang acknowledged that no leader holds a monopoly on wisdom and pledged to meet with youth group leaders across the state for further discussions when the protests are over. The governor lauded protesters over peaceful demonstrations, which he said have shown Plateau State is regaining its former glory in the eyes of both Nigerians and the international community. Governor Moftuang, however, justified calls to end protests by highlighting concerns over criminal elements that have infiltrated the demonstrations. He condemned display of foreign flags by protesters and assured government is taking proactive measures to prevent further unrest. He also noted that resistance encountered from hoodlums in Just North from Monday morning until late afternoon underscored the necessity of the curfew. He said the curfew would be reviewed as soon as the security situation allows and reiterated that his administration will not tolerate actions that threaten the peace and security of the state. Still on developments concerning the protest, Lagos State High Court in Igboshare has extended its previous directive confining demonstrations in Lagos to Freedom and Peace Parks located in Ojota and K2 areas of the state. The extension was issued by Justice Serifat Sonaike following an application by Lagos State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Mr. Lawal Pedro Sam. Mr. Pedro, represented in court by Director of Civil Litigations, Mr. Hamid Oyenuga, informed the court that the earlier order had been served on all respondents in accordance with the pre-action protocols. Although the respondents had yet to reply to the application, Mr. Pedro argued that extending the restriction to two specific venues was necessary to maintain the current level of peace in the state amid ongoing nationwide protests. Justice Sonaike, satisfied with the Attorney General's adherence to Justice Ogundare's directives, ruled to confine protests to the Freedom and Peace Parks in Ojota and Ketu until full compliance with the preliminary orders is achieved. You're still watching Adbn News at 7. Still to come. NASU suspend indefinite strike over 4 months withheld salaries amid nationwide hunger protests. Ogun gears up for local government elections with 16th November set for polls and guidelines to be unveiled 8 August. Well, remember to watch us on DSTV channel 258, on StarTimes channel 140, Avo TV app, Limex World TV app, and Niger TV app. For more stories, visit our website on www.adbntv.com. Stay with us for more stories right after this break.
Welcome to the world where innovation meets opportunity, where ideas become empires. This is Market TV.
I am Idorian Flannan, and every week I'll be taking you inside the dynamic world of marketing and commercial business.
From groundbreaking startups to big businesses, Market TV brings you the best pricing and latest goods on display.
It's all about understanding your audience and staying ahead of the trends.
Witness the creative processes that drive the various brands.
Join us as we dive deep into the strategies that shape the commercial landscape. From streets to traditional advertising and social media, we cover it all.
Whether you're a seasoned professional or an aspiring entrepreneur, Market TV provides the insights you need to thrive.
This show gave us the tool to turn our vision into reality.
So, if you're ready to master the market, tune into Market TV every Saturday at 6 p.m.
In a world of overwhelming voices where everyone has different opinion on different issues, it is important that we bring the core issue to the fore. Join me, Nancy Banigo, on Softline as we lend our voices to inform and influence your thoughts and actions. This is not just mere talk, it is an invocative program that touches the core of our existence.
One hour of your daily dose of news from around the world.
Whether it's a diplomatic breakthrough, a humanitarian crisis, or a scientific discovery, Global Digest gives you a deeper understanding of the world around you. Join me, Alma Marcus. Let's stay ahead of the curve with conversations that are shaping our planet at 11 a.m. on DSTV, channel 258, and on StarTimes, channel 140. Global Digest, your window to the world's current affairs, only on Advocate Broadcasting Network.
Thank you for staying with us. Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, and Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions, NASU, have suspended their planned indefinite strike following ongoing nationwide protests against hunger and bad governance. On 18th July, the two unions, through the Joint Action Committee, staged a national protest and submitted letters to the Ministries of Education and Labor and Employment and demanded the payment of 4 months withheld salaries, warning that failure to meet their demands would result in an indefinite strike. This protest coincided with a meeting between President Bola Tinubu and the leadership of organized labor, including the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, and the Trade Union Congress, TUC, at the presidential villa in Abuja. During the meeting, labor leaders raised the issue of the withheld salaries, and the president promptly directed that the payments be made. Despite this directive, the one-week deadline for payment expired without any disbursement, coinciding with threats of nationwide protests by youths. In a circular signed by SANU President Comrade Mohammed Ibrahim and NASU General Secretary Prince Peters Ademi, the unions disclosed that their decision to suspend the proposed indefinite strike. They reasoned that such action would be overshadowed by the broader national protest potentially preventing their issue from receiving necessary government attention and media coverage. Ogun State Independent Electoral Commission has fixed Saturday, 16th November for local government elections in 20 local government areas of the state. Chairman of the Commission in the state, Mr. Babatunde Osibodu, disclosed this in a statement today. He stated that 8th of August is scheduled for the release of guidelines for the conduct of the elections and stakeholders meeting, while campaigns by political parties will begin on 9th of August. He further added that political parties are also scheduled to hold their party primaries between Monday, 26th August and extended Monday, 9th September 2024. It may be recalled that elected local government officials completed their tenure about a week ago as civil servants took charge at the different local government councils across the state pending the election of a new chairman. In a major step towards expanding democratic participation, Nigeria Diaspora Voting Council (NDVC) has today submitted a constitutional memorandum to the National Assembly. The document outlines a framework for enabling millions of Nigerians living abroad to cast their votes in future elections. The proposal was presented by top NDVC officials to the Senate Committee on Constitution Review. It includes specific constitutional amendments, a detailed memorandum, a draft diaspora voting bill, and a comprehensive justification for the proposed changes. With over 17 million Nigerians residing overseas, the NDVC believes that granting them voting rights is essential for inclusive governance. The Council's submission is now before the Senate for consideration. Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) has directed telecommunications operators to simplify their tariff plans, bundles and promotional activities. This follows the widespread frustration among Nigerians over the rapid depletion of their airtime and data plans, which previously lasted longer amid agitation by telcos seeking NCC's approval to hike tariff plans. Spokesperson for the NCC, Mr. Ruben Moka, disclosed that the regulator has instructed all telcos to provide clear, easy to understand and accurate information regarding services to subscribers. Mr. Moka emphasized that mobile network operators are mandated to publish comprehensive tables detailing features of their tariff plans and bundle offers. These tables, according to him, should include all necessary information for subscribers to make informed decisions, such as details on add-ons, pricing, opt-in and out procedures, renewal terms, and rollover policies. He further explained that the simplification guidelines aim to achieve several objectives, including reducing complexity of tariff plans and bundles, ensuring transparency and fairness in promotional elements, amongst others. In Kano, the Kano State Police Command has arrested a notorious armed robber and recovered 2 AK-47 rifles and 47 rounds of live ammunition. Kano State Police Public Relations Officer SP Abdullahi Kiawa reported that the suspect, identified as Hassan Ilya, was apprehended while attempting to flee on a motorcycle. He said the police recovered 4.9 million naira in cash, believed to be part of the 15 million naira stolen during the robbery. The robbery, which occurred on 5th August, involved armed men storming the residence of a Yandadi village resident, assaulting the victim and fleeing with 15 million naira. The prompt police response led to the swift arrest of the primary suspect just hours after the crime was reported. State Commissioner of Police CP Salman Garba lauded the officers for their rapid action and urged the public to stay vigilant and report any suspicious activities to the police. Emergency contact numbers have been provided for reporting any unusual movements or activity. Turning our attention to the foreign scene, United States Vice President Kamala Harris has chosen Tim Walz as her running mate. selecting the Minnesota governor as the partner she believes will best complement her in her historic bid for the White House. Walz, who was on a short list alongside other prominent Democratic figures, is seen as a key choice to broaden Harris's appeal as she gears up for the contest against Donald Trump. As she aims to become the first woman president, Harris, who has already broken barriers as the first female black and South Asian vice president, faces a tight timeline before Election Day on 5th November. Walz, known for his support of popular Democratic policies such as cannabis legalization and enhanced worker protections, is also expected to resonate with progressives. The Harris-Walz team will immediately hit the campaign trail, embarking on an intensive 5-day tour of battleground states, beginning Tuesday in Pennsylvania, the most pivotal prize. Having secured the official Democratic nomination, Harris is set to head the national convention in Chicago in 2 weeks with full control of her party. Eluned Morgan has been sworn in as Wales' first female leader after lawmakers in the devolved parliament elected her to replace Vaughan Getting, who lasted just 4 months in charge. Morgan was appointed the new Welsh Labour leader last month, positioning her as the party's candidate for First Minister of Wales. Lawmakers in the Welsh Assembly, which had been recalled from recess, confirmed her nomination. Morgan's predecessor, Getting, who had made history as the first black leader of a government in a European country, when elected in March, stepped down last month amid a series of controversies. Prime Minister Keir Starmer, leader of the UK Labour Party, lauded Morgan's election, highlighting her wealth of experience and proven track record as key strengths for her new role. Meanwhile, Bangladesh's President Mohamed Shahabuddin has dissolved parliament following demands by student protesters who led demonstrations that ousted longtime ruler Sheikh Hasina. This was made known in a statement by the press secretary to the president, Shiblu Zaman. It may be recalled that at least 109 people were killed during violent unrest in Bangladesh on Monday as the prime minister was ousted. Based on police, government officials and doctors at hospitals, this marks the deadliest day since protests began in early July and brings the total number killed to 409. Meanwhile, Bangladesh's major police association has declared a strike by its members just 1 day after their attempt to suppress protests with force, which contributed to the Prime Minister's downfall. The association in a statement declared members will embark on strike until the safety of all police personnel is ensured. Student protesters in Bangladesh have also announced their intention to advocate for Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus to head an interim government. Mali's government has severed diplomatic relations with Ukraine, citing allegations that Kiev supported an armed attack last month by insurgent groups in Mali, which resulted in significant losses in Malian soldiers and Russian mercenaries. Mali's government spokesperson Colonel Abdoulaye Maiga explained the decision followed comments from a Ukrainian official suggesting Ukraine's involvement in the Malian insurgency. Spokesperson for Ukraine's military intelligence agency, Andrea Yusov, last week claimed that armed groups in Mali had received crucial information from Kiev to facilitate the July attack. Ukraine's foreign minister in response stated that Mali had cut ties without a thorough investigation or evidence of Ukrainian involvement in the attack. Mali's move comes on the heels of similar accusations from neighboring Senegal, which also alleged Ukrainian support for the July assault. In the UK, the United Kingdom government has mobilized 6,000 specialist police officers to address far-right rioting that erupted following murder of 3 children, leading to a week of violence. 6 individuals were on Monday arrested and several officers injured during clashes in Plymouth, southern England. Officers in Belfast, Northern Ireland, were attacked as rioters attempted to set fire to a shop owned by a foreign national. Police reported a serious assault on a man during the disturbances and are treating the incident as a racially motivated hate crime. The unrest began last Tuesday after 3 children were killed in a stabbing incident at a Taylor Swift-themed dance class in Southport, northwest England. Justice Minister Heidi Alexander disclosed that the government has added 500 extra prison places and deployed 6,000 specialist officers to manage the situation. She assured that there will be sufficient prison capacity for those sentenced for their roles in the riots and disorder. A landslide caused by heavy rains in the Wolaita region of southern Ethiopia has resulted in at least 13 deaths, with the death toll expected to rise. The zone chief administrator of Wolaita, Samuel Fola, reported that over 300 people have been evacuated from Kindo Didaye district, though the number of missing individuals remains unknown. Meanwhile, the regional government has initiated rescue operations in the affected area. This incident follows a major mudslide in neighboring Gamo Gofa last month, which claimed more than 229 lives. The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs suggested that the death toll from that disaster could be as high as 500. In sports, 3 Nigerian athletes have advanced to the final of the women's long jump event at the Paris Olympics. Eshe Brume, who secured a bronze medal at the Tokyo Olympics along with Ruth Usoro, Pristina Ochonogo, all qualified for the final on Tuesday. This marks the first time that 3 Nigerian athletes have reached the final in the long jump event at an Olympic Games. Additionally, Ella Onojuweve progressed to the women's 400 meters semifinals after winning her repechage heat at the Paris Olympics. Meanwhile, Nigerian record holder in javelin Chinecherem Prosper Nnamdi finished 14th from his qualification group, missing out on a place in the final. Over 40 athletes at the 2024 Paris Olympics have tested positive for COVID-19, underscoring a recent global increase in cases. World Health Organization (WHO) revealed this today, emphasizing that the virus responsible for the COVID-19 pandemic remains active and that countries must enhance their response systems. WHO's Director of Epidemic and Pandemic Preparedness and Prevention, Maria Kekov, noted that data from 84 countries indicates a rising percentage of positive tests from SARS-CoV-2, the virus causing COVID-19. Additionally, wastewater surveillance, which provides a 2 to 3 week advance warning of case numbers, suggests that the actual circulation of SARS-CoV-2 may be 2 to 20 times higher than current reported figures. This rise, according to the agency, is concerning because the virus continues to evolve, potentially leading to a more severe strain that could evade detection and diminish the effectiveness of current medical interventions, including vaccines. Nigeria Women Football League has selected Cross River State as the host for the 2023-2024 NWFL Championship. This event, the league's second division, is scheduled to take place in Calabar from 31st August to 8 September 2024. In a statement, NWFL Chief Operating Officer Mrs. Modupe Shabi confirmed that the draws and pre-match meetings will occur the day after the club's arrival in Cross River State on Thursday, 29th August. The participating clubs will be divided into 4 groups, with 8 matches taking place each day across 2 venues. Over 14 registered clubs are expected to compete in this year's championship, with the top 2 teams earning promotion to the NWFL Premiership, while 2 teams will be relegated to the 3rd division. Well, this is where we draw the curtains on Adbn TV News at 7. Remember to watch us live on DSTV channel 258, on StarTimes channel 140, Avo TV app, Limex World TV app, and Niger TV app. For more stories, visit our website on www.adbntv.com. You can also watch us live from every part of the world by logging on to www.adbntv.com/live. My name is Chijoke Okafo. Many thanks for watching. Good evening.
ADBN, Advocate Broadcasting Network.
Rich with history and culture, Nigerians face challenges that test the resilience and spirit of our people. From devastating floods to raging fires, from terror of kidnappings to the violence of banditry, emergencies strike without warning.
Any person can be ambushed, but we have dominated the bushes.
But in the face of danger, heroes rise. Discover the dedication, bravery, and teamwork behind every rescue. Witness stories of survival, hope, and the unbreakable spirit of Nigerians.
I am Nkechi Issa, and I invite you to join me on a journey into the heart of Nigeria's emergency response efforts. Together, we can overcome any challenge. Join us as we explore the resilience and heroism that define Nigeria.
Emergency Response, every Sunday at 6 p.m. only on ADBN. Stay prepared, stay safe, stay strong. Welcome to the world where innovation meets opportunity, where ideas become empires. This is Market TV.
I am Idorian Flannan, and every week I'll be taking you inside the dynamic world of marketing and commercial business.
From groundbreaking startups